when printing became the trade it did, you'd see these little apprentices with torches inside what we call the devil's hole, which was like a stone tomb or a sepulchre. They would go back and forth, then scraping off the soot. Of course, the kids were breathing it in too, but who cared? They were just apprentices. Before child labor laws and OSHA. Now, I'm being high-tech. I'm using a roller here. This would not be done in Gutenberg's day. They would use these. These are called the ink balls. And literally a guy would be there pounding, spreading out the ink all day long before the printing actually proceeded on. This was the age, even then, of the specialist. He was called the beater. It's a great story about the ink balls I can tell you later on that concerns Benjamin Franklin. It's something pretty odious, but later on. Meanwhile, I'm using the roller, and I always, because I'm an actor, writer, cartoonist, I get to be Benjamin Franklin year-round here at the Printing Museum. You can actually see the reflection of the letters, what I call the Disney effect, on the roller. Isn't that neat? It's the little kicks in life I get that keeps me going. All right. Now the master printer would take his paper, which he made, incidentally. We make our own paper here at the Printing Museum. We have our paper making classes. Another cheap commercial I threw. Bring our paper down. The fine young man, boy in blue over here, come over here. Fine young man hitting the bottle over here. Give him applause. What is our name? What is thy name? What is thy name? Dirk. Dirk is a very brave, intelligent person here in Mainz, Germany. We think he has a promising future in printing. I don't think he'll work out. But nonetheless, come over here. Master Dirk, place both hands on the ground. Crank it towards the machine. Towards the machine. Don't fight against me. Work with me, boy. Hey, follows the way over. Very good. Put one foot in front towards me now. One foot behind. Place both hands on the devil's tail. Both hands. Overlap hands. Bring it in a little bit closer. Bring it all the way back. Press it all the way back. Over. Muscle it out. Impress the women. Go ahead. Turn this way. Go along. Okay. All the way back. All the way back. Good. Counter it with the grounds. All the way back. Bring it back. Now stand back. All right. Let's see what happens if it's over-inked or not. Not a bad job. Your first time on the Gutenberg press. Give Dom a round of applause. They did a nice job. You notice Gutenberg would only print the text. You would then take it over to your friendly neighborhood monastery. They then would paint in the illumination. Then you take it to a binder. So it's a three-way step that you would take in order to create your book. Now if you notice, it was a fairly big book. This is the actual size of a Gutenberg Bible page. I also want to reiterate one thing too. We were at an antiquarian book fair, and there was one printed page, only text, and had a herald of red on it. It went for $56,000 at the end of the fair. He asked for it and he got it. We have ours completely with illuminations in the gift shop for $10. Another cheap commercial. Here you are, Del, with our compliments. Give him a nice hand. And if you notice over here, this is an example of a Gutenberg Bible page. There are 48 in existence in the world. Not one looks alike. It depends on the artist who worked on it. Some are very elaborate and beautiful. Some are very gaudy. Some are very, well, not too interesting. They're kind of boring. Depending on each artist, not one looks alike. Now, what language is this printed in? It better be Latin, nothing else. Better be Latin, the language of the Holy Church. And also notice this. Our illuminators had practical usage for their work on the Gutenberg Bible page. They also would dramatize and illustrate what had happened previously before in the story, or what was happening now, or was foreshadowing what was happening in the near future. Also, they were used for a practical purpose. Printers are only human. They would make mistakes. So, it was up to the illuminator to point out the revision or the correction on the page. By maybe painting in a tree with a little nightingale, pointing out where that correction or revision was. So every time you turned your page, aha, there was a nightingale telling you that's where the revision was. Also, because I'm an actor, writer, cartoonist, I enjoy this little bit of tidbit information. Often the illuminators would put inside jokes about the bishop or the pope or whatever that have been lost over the centuries, but cartoonists have been so irreverent ever since day one. Interesting point, though, about the Gutenberg Bible page. It is in Latin, and we know this for a fact, that it took 3 to 5 years for that scribe to complete one Holy Bible. 5 years pass. How many Bibles does Gutenberg create? 180. Guess who takes notice? The Holy Church. But merchants take notice too. It's a Bible way of making a buck. If you live in one county, you live in the next county, you live in the next county, want us to get together to build up ships to send to the Orient, to get silks and spices and so forth, make a killing on the market. This is a quick way of communication.